Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. I forgot the name of the game for a second. In the last episode, we did a bunch of prologue stuff. We met Dimitri, Edelgard, and Claude, not in that order. And then they asked us to come back with them to Garreg Mach Monastery, which is where we're heading now, so we're just going to save and do that. Let's go!
Part 1. White Clouds. Great Tree Moon. 3 houses. The icy winds of the Agma Mountains have begun to scatter, and the verdant fields once again spring to life across Fodlan, heralding the start of a new year. As they celebrate the dawning year, the people pray that they may realize their full potential, just as a tiny sprout hopes to one day grow into a great tree. The continent of Fodlan, said to be protected by a revered goddess, has existed since time immemorial. 3 ruling powers now control the land. In the south lies a region long held by a more than 1,000-year-old dynasty, the Adrestian Empire. Beyond its borders, to the frigid north, is the home of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, ruled by the royal family and its knights. To the east, a league of nobles that heeds no king nor emperor rules what is called the Leicester Alliance. Once consumed by a tempest of war and turmoil, Fodlan and these 3 mighty powers now exist in relative harmony.
This will be your first time at the monastery. I'd be happy to show you around.
It really is Fodlan in a nutshell. The good and the bad.
Like it or not, we'll be there soon enough. There it is. Garreg Mach Monastery.
Is here.
I wonder, did the flow of time bring you here?
It's been years since I've last set eyes on this place. To be forced to see her now, I've never spoken of this to you before, but many years ago, I was a knight here. I reported to the Archbishop, Lady Rhea. As you know, the majority of folks in Fodlan are devout followers of the teachings of Seros. The leader of that ridiculously large religious organization is the Archbishop, Lady Rhea.
Thank you for your patience, Gerald. My name is Setik. I am an advisor to the Archbishop.
Right. Hello.
It has been a long time, Gerald. I wonder, was it the will of the goddess that we have another chance meeting like this?
Forgive my silence all these years. Much has happened since we last spoke.
So I see. The miracle of fatherhood has blessed you. That is your child, is it not?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Born many years after I left this place. I wish I could introduce you to the mother of my child, but I'm afraid we lost her to illness.
I see. My condolences. As for you, I heard of your valiant efforts from Alois. What is your name?
Sorry, I didn't actually go over it before, but if you press the back trigger, you can see the log and repeat any line that's been spoken. I tapped my controller on the desk on accident. I'm sorry about that.
A fine name indeed. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for saving those students of the Officers' Academy. Gerald, you already know what it is I wish to say, do you not?
You want me to rejoin the Knights of Seros, don't you? I won't say no, but...
Your apprehension stings. I had expected that Alois would have already asked this of you. I must step away for now, but I expect they will desire a word with you soon. Please listen carefully to what they have to say. Until tomorrow, farewell.
I can't believe it. Forced back into the Knights of Seros. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Looks like I'll be stuck here for a while. And I'm afraid your services are requested as well. Nothing like that. They want you to teach, by the sound of it. You heard those brats earlier talking about the Officers' Academy, right? Well, the Academy just happens to be short a professor. And apparently that damned Alois went and recommended you to Lady Rhea.
So, you must be the new professor. My, how stern and handsome you are.
No. I'm not the one you're looking for. You can handle things from here. Good luck. And watch out for Lady Rhea. I don't know what she's thinking making you a professor like this. She may be up to something. Stay on your guard.
Oh, it's you then? So young.
Competence and age are not necessarily correlated. As you well know, I am Hanneman, a crest scholar and professor at the Officers' Academy. I wonder if you bear a crest of your own. When next you have a moment to spare, I insist that you pay me a visit so we can delve into the subject further.
I'm Manuela. I'm a professor, a physician, a songstress, and available. It's nice to meet you. I look too pretty for that line of work, do I? But yes, when I'm not teaching, I can be found in the infirmary. If you're ever lonely, please do come and pay me a visit. I would love to.
Spare our colleague the needless chatter, Manuela. Now then, it seems you'll be taking charge of one of the Academy's 3 houses. I expect you haven't yet been briefed on the nature of each, have you?
Do you really not know? Fine. I'll do you a favor and explain. The Officers' Academy is comprised of 3 houses of students, each of which is closely affiliated with its region of origin. The Black Eagle House is for students from the Adrestian Empire. Their house leader this year is Edelgard, the Imperial Princess, who is in line to be the next Emperor.
The Blue Lion House is for students from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Their house leader this year is Prince Dimitri. He is to be the next king of Fargus.
Lastly, there is the Golden Deer House, which is for students of the Leicester Alliance. Their house leader is Claude, grandson to Duke Regan, the leader of the Alliance.
To think that the next Emperor, King, and Sovereign Duke are all here. It certainly is a promising year for the Academy.
I'll say. I just hope none of those little treasures cause any trouble.
Quite. For now, I suggest taking a stroll around the Academy to get your bearings. And when you've a moment, please stop by my research laboratory.
The old man has a point. Oh, and keep in mind that I've only notified the house leaders that you're our new professor. It's more fun that way. I suggest you try spending time with the students. Some odd ducks in that bunch, but they're good kids. I'm sure Lady Rhea will have more information for you tomorrow, but that should get you going. Good luck!
Have you no intention of changing your mind, Rhea? Appointing a stranger, a child no less, as a professor at our esteemed academy is...
I have made my decision, Sedith. I know worrying comes naturally to you, but there is truly no need. That stranger is Geralt's flesh and blood, after all.
I can't say that's all too comforting. How trustworthy is this Geralt character? Is he not the man who went missing after the Great Fire 21 years ago? I would remind you that Flayn is now here with us as well. I beg of you, please consider whether this is an unnecessary risk.
Sedith, they have my trust. Let that be enough for you as well. More importantly, I have received a report from Shamir. I am increasingly concerned about a matter regarding our suspicious individual. We cannot ignore those who harbor ill will toward the Church, especially if they are frequenting Garreg Mach.
Yes, that matter is of great importance as well. I shall continue my investigation. Rhea, for now I will have faith that you are placing your trust with the utmost care. I pray that nothing occurs to shake that confidence.
Of course.
Oh my god, I can finally talk again. Okay, so, after 13 minutes of cutscenes, awesome. So, when you're moving around the monastery, it's just as simple as moving the control stick, you can move the camera, you can press X to pull up this menu, I'll go over all those things later, and then that's pretty much it. You can press R to go on the map, and you can fast travel, but can't do it right now because we don't have everything unlocked. Oh my god. Sorry, I just had so much things to say, so many things to say, but like 13 minutes of cutscenes, way more than I remember. You know what, you've talked enough.
May I ask a favor?
Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, quests. So when you get a quest, you complete it, you come back to the person that asked you to do it, you get the reward stated at the beginning of said quest. Oh my god. Okay, so, minimap, you can adjust the size of it at any time by pressing one of the right back trigger. See how wide it can go, full map, and then just, yeah, I like to keep it here. So, she wants us to go talk to the house leaders and get some info on the 3 houses that are in this game. So, we have Edelgard over here. I'm going to go over all of them. Oh, yeah, the reception hall. Don't worry about that. We can just skip that. We have, let's see. I'm probably going to finish all of this within this next episode so that we can actually get the game rolling next episode, hopefully. So, this is going to be a long one.
Accepted a teaching position here. Pity. I was hoping you would lend your strength to the Empire. I never properly introduced myself, did I? My name is Edelgard von Hresburg. I am the princess and heir apparent of the Adrestian Empire. I wonder if you'll be tasked with leading the Black Eagles. I hope you've had a chance to meet everyone. Would you like to know more about any of the Black Eagles?
So, we can go over and she'll give us a little bit of info about every single character. Let's see. I guess we can do this. Why not?
Me? Well, some think I'm a bit distant. Arrogant even. But there's little to be done. One day, I must rise to become Adrestia's next emperor. What else? Well, it seems to me that we may have similar personalities.
Well, that's just dodging the question. You press X to swap display if you want to stare at her for some fucking reason, you creepos. So, I can't go over any of this at the moment. Not really the time, anyways. Where it says defining ability, it says Imperial Lineage. All the main house leaders will have an experience multiplier of 1.2 every single time you get experience. It shows what their strengths are, meaning those are the abilities that they'll be best at, and then their weaknesses are the two things that they're worst at learning. So, should we go over all of them? Yeah, we'll go over all of them.
Hubert is the heir of Marquis Vestra. He has served me since I was a child. You may think his blood runs a bit cold, but actually that's rather accurate. Still, if you can get past that, you'll see he's quite astute and reasonable.
Ugh. Ferdinand.
For some reason, he thinks of me as a bitter rival and is always trying to challenge me. It's terribly irritating. His house is that of Duke Ire, which produces Adrestia's prime ministers. That family is perhaps too pleased with its own status. He's remarkably intelligent, but he only wishes to apply himself to tasks that particularly interest him, and nothing else. He's also fond of, well, napping. If he had any work ethic or sense of duty to speak of, I suppose he would be destined to become an official of the Empire. He's the second son of Count Burgleys. He has no inheritance in his future, which is perhaps why he's always so eager to prove himself. He's overly energetic and rushes headfirst into any battle. If he ends up in your care, be sure to keep a close eye on him.
Turn it up a little bit. For me, don't worry about it. You guys are good.
She's Count Varley's only daughter. I suppose you could say she's a bit eccentric, but she seems like a gentle soul. I believe she's shut herself away in her quarters and doesn't care to leave, but don't worry. I'll make sure she finds her way to class. Few commoners have joined the Black Eagle House, but Dorothea is an exception. She's a songstress from a famous opera company in the Empire. I'm not entirely sure what brought her to the Officers' Academy. To the west of Fodlan is an archipelago called Brigid. Petra is the granddaughter of their king. Brigid is a vassal state of the Empire, which is how she came to be enrolled here. She's incredibly smart and studious.
Alright, so that's the Black Eagle House.
Yes.
The main thing is you just have to talk to everybody. Next we are gonna go to Claude. What's up? Yep, yard, don't worry about that. Come on, there we go.
I guess
Yeah, I don't need to
I'm
hear
guessing,
any more
have
of
you met
this.
the folks from the Golden Deer House?
Alright, let's see.
Piqued your interest, have I? As luck would have it, I'm pretty curious about you as well. But what's life without a bit of mystery? Let's just spend the next year or so learning about each other little by little. He's the heir of Gloucester territory. If you haven't already picked up on it, he's a bit arrogant and fancies himself a ladies' man. That said, deep down he's really devoted and honest. Though I wouldn't mind never hearing him talk about his noble obligations ever again.
Sorry, I'm just trying to skip through these as fast as possible.
He comes from a merchant family, but his parents died in an accident. Seems like he's had a rough life. Despite all that, he's just about the most cheerful guy you'll ever meet. His passions are training, eating, and actually that's about it. He's the second son of a merchant family. Since his brother will inherit the business, he's training to become a knight. If you ask me, it doesn't seem like he truly wants to be a knight. He's probably just doing it to please his parents. Lysithia is the daughter of Count Ordelia, and is probably the youngest student here. But watch out, she gets angry if you treat her like a child. As for me, I do it on purpose. You have to make your own fun in this place, you know? Marianne is Margrave Edmund's daughter, and that's pretty much all I know about her. She doesn't interact much with other students, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of folks here have never even heard her speak. Hilda is the only daughter of Duke Goneril. It seems her father and brother coddle her quite a bit. If you look up lazy in the dictionary, her picture won't be there because she never got around to submitting it. Not too unusual for a noble, I guess. Leonie enrolled because she wants to be a mercenary. I think she said that her father is a hunter. She's pretty blunt and as stingy as they come. A habitual saver, too. I think she's hoping to repay her village for helping to send her here.
Oh, so much exposition.
Yeah.
You can go around and talk to the individual students too. You can find them around here, but wow. I guess the entire house is in their room, I guess.
Hey.
Oh, jeez. Alright, that's not important right now.
Right.
Dimitri, here we go.
Please accept my apologies for the other day. You came.
Yeah, we didn't hear this.
I hear you're investigating the
Okay.
different houses here.
Yes. Here we go. Again.
Me? Oh, please forgive me. It's difficult to open up on the spot, don't you think? I'm afraid my story has not been a pleasant one. I do hope that doesn't color your view of me, but I understand if that can't be helped. Dedu was born in Dusker, and has been loyally working in my service for the past 4 years. He's rather taciturn, but once you get to know him, you'll see he's a kind and good-natured young man. Felix is the heir to House Fraldarius. He has a bit of a sharp tongue, but don't let that fool you. Deep down, he's a good guy. He gravitates toward people who are skilled. Perhaps you would enjoy a friendly competition with him sometime. He's the adoptive son of Lord Lenato of Castle Gaspar, but I hear he was born a commoner. He has an extremely earnest personality, so I'm certain he will approach your lectures with great enthusiasm. Sylvain is the heir to House Gautier. He is a capable person who highly values his friends. That said, well, he's always been a bit of a skirt chaser, so to speak. Pardon my bluntness. I speak with him about it often, but it doesn't seem to help. I hear she was born to imperial nobility, but a twist of fate brought her to the kingdom. She may seem carefree on the surface, but she's actually a kind soul who pays careful attention to everyone around her. Annette is Baron Dominic's niece. She is a talented student who scored extremely high marks at the Royal School of Sorcery. She's cheerful and hardworking. Brilliant, really. Though she can be a bit oblivious at times. I hear she caused an explosion in the kitchen last night. Ingrid is Count Galatia's daughter. She is also a childhood friend of Felix, Sylvain, and myself. She is diligent, industrious, and principled. In truth, she is more knightly than most knights you will ever meet.
Oh, we're done. We're
I
done hearing about
appreciate
people. Alright, so when you complete the quest, it gives you the items that it said it would. Yeah, we can turn to Ray if we want to, which I want to show off one more thing before we do that, if possible, which I believe it is. So, if you go to your roster, it'll tell you everybody who's in your, roster, but right now it's literally everybody. Literally everybody. So, but if we go into any single time you're in a menu like this, you can press X to move your cursor around to get more details about everything. Okay. So we have status, skills, and then classes, and then notes. We'll start with status. Oh my god. I know there's a lot. I'm sorry, guys. So you have their gender, their age, and then their height, and then their crest. Don't worry about crest. We'll go over that later. The class is what class they are right now. Every single character has a different... well, not every single character, but... for me, they will have different classes when that is not important right now. It'll tell you what they have and just basic notes on what they can do. Affiliation is obviously who they're affiliated with. Right now, If you have somebody who's affiliated with the Church of Saros, I'll obviously say that. But right now, let's see. Adressian Empire and then Lesser Alliance. If you go over to the Kingdom people, it'll say they're Kingdom of Fargus. You get it. Level is what level they are overall. And the experience is how many experience they've gained total. And then that little blue meter is once that reaches to the end, you gain another level. HP is how much health you have. When it drops to 0, you die. Movement is how many spaces you can move. This is one of the most important stats in the entire game. Okay, then here we go. We have strength. This is how much your damage will do with physical attacks. Magic is how much damage it'll do with magic. Dexterity affects hit and critical hit rates. Speed is your avoidance rate, and also when I said that if your speed is more than double your opponent's, then you will hit them twice. Luck has a bunch of different things, and the main thing it just mentions is it lowers the chance of enemy critical hits. Defense is your resistance against physical attacks, and then resistance is your resistance to magic attacks. And then your charm is just for Gambit's hit rate, avoidance. It's just everything for your Gambits, but that's not important right now. Equipment, equip, the E means you have that item equipped right now, and it gives you all the stats you'd want to know about what it is about that item. Where it says range, that's how far you can hit with it. Obviously, this one says 1. A bow would say 2, because a bow would say, I think it would just say 2. Hold on. You know what? Here, how about this? Yeah, look. It says 2. There you go. And then the secondary equipment, you can have 2 things equipped at one time, an item and a weapon. The item, we don't have any right now. Other items that are in their inventory that I definitely need to store away because they should not be there. And then combat arts, Wrath Strike, it's just what kind of arts they have equipped. And then your class combat arts, some classes have their own specific combat arts. This is not one of them. Okay, so, abilities. Every single character in the game has their own personal ability. You seen them when we were going over all the characters if you want to go back and look at them. Professor's Guidance is the main character's ability. Multiplies the units and adjacent units' experience earned by 1.2. So he always gains experience faster than all the other units, and other units that are adjacent to him will gain the same amount of experience. And then your skills, which we'll go over later, but this is what they are for now. Battalion, which again we'll go over later. Skills, this is the important one. So as you're leveling up throughout the game, as you do things like use a weapon in battle, or learn about a weapon from other people, just things like that, these skills will go up. The main character excels in sword and brawl and authority. I don't think he doesn't really have a hindrance in anything. And you can pretty much you can make any character do whatever the hell you want to do for the entire game, which is new to Fire Emblem. All the Fire Emblem games, whatever weapons a character is using is usually what you stick them with. But in this game, you can have, see this character, he gets given a sword and, you know, he's good with authority and brawl, but I can have this guy be a bow user and a riding skill to ride on cavalry. You can do whatever you want with any of your characters. I hit my controller on the thing again. Even if they're not skilled at them, it just takes longer for them to get skilled at it, but you can do it if you want to. So obviously you have swords, lances, axes, and bows. Those are your 4 main weapons. And for those who know anything about fire and brawling, you use gauntlets for brawling, but you don't need them. It's not important, but I'm never going to use this guy. I've only ever used it once, and it wasn't that worth it. Brawling's not the greatest. It's good if you want crits, though. Anyways, sword, lance, and axe. If you know anything about Fire Emblem, there used to be a weapon triangle where axes would do more against swords, swords would do more against lances, and lances would do more against axes, if I'm remembering it right. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors. That's not in this game. There is no weapon triangle in this game, so fair warning. And then bows, brawling. Reason is your ability to use magic that does damage. Faith is your ability to use magic that's generally used for healing, but some of it can also do damage. And then it's also used for other quality of life things like moving opponents or moving teammates from one point to another across the battlefield, whenever the hell you want. Your authority is for commanding battalions and using gambits. Again, we'll go over that later. Heavy armor is used. This is basically just your way to unlock heavy armor classes. Same thing with riding and flying. It doesn't really actually affect anything until it's at a high enough level to where it's used to unlock classes. That's all it's really for. So, just so you know. Classes. As I said, every single character has their own list of classes they can go through. They have to take a test to be able to get into a class if they want to, but only when they reach a certain level. If they reach level 5, they can take a beginner class. When they reach level 10, they can take intermediate. When they get to 15, then they can take an advanced, and then a master level once they, we'll worry about that later. And then notes. This just gives you personal details about characters. It matters not right now, but that's what it is. Oh, there we go. And then you can learn all that info for every single character. That's a lot to go over, though. So before we go on, I'm gonna store some of this stuff away. Not for any particular reason. I just don't want it in my inventory. Okay, we can finish this up, and then we're good to go. We go to the second floor. We go talk to Rhea, and then we're done.
Hi.
Oh yeah, everything else over here for now. One more thing I want to go over real quick. I'm going to pause the game real quick, and I'm going to pull something up on the screen to show you guys. Okay, I pulled up a map here. I'm pretty sure you can't see my mouse, but let's see if I can adjust this to make it just a little bit bigger. So if you see where Fargus is on the top part of the map. That's where, what's his name? Dimitri rules over. Over here, the Leicester Alliance, to the right-hand side, or the west, or sorry, the east if you want. That's where Claude rules over. And then to the south is the Adrestian Empire. That's where Edelgard rules over. Now, if you look over, you can see a small archipelago in the back right, and the bottom left-hand corner. I cannot talk right now. Bottom left-hand corner, you can see where the Brigid Empire is. That's what they were talking about earlier when there was a character who said that was from there. And then Dusker is also a neighboring country that does not actually appear on this map, but it's north to Fargus if you guys cared enough to, you know, bother with it. So I can remove that now, and we can keep going. Yes, obviously remove it. All right, cool. Okay, so now that we're done with that, I just want to make sure we're all clear on that. So we're going to go to the audience chamber, and then we'll be good to go with more cutscenes. And at the end of the cutscenes, we can be done with this episode, because these are so long. I know, they're not going to be this long normally, but got to get through it all.
I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
I suppose it is time for you to take charge of one of our 3 houses of students. I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But it is as the Archbishop desires.
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining 2 houses.
Sorry about that. I know I just had a huge my soundboard desktop made a noise it wasn't supposed to. I'm sorry about that. So we get to pick what house we're in charge of. So the Adrestian Empire, house for students of the Adrestian Empire. Most of them are nobility, and most of them use magic. Not really my thing. I hate this one, if I'm being honest with you. Dimitri is with the Blue Lion House. It's for the students of the Kingdom of Fargus. Most of them excel at military arts. I think there's only 2 magic users, and everyone else just uses weapons, and it's what they're really good at. And then Claude with the Golden Deer Alliance, the house for the students of the Leicester Alliance. As per tradition, a lot of them are archers. I did not have them be that way when I played that house, though. Fair warning. Also, one more thing I want to mention just because it's actually worth mentioning. Lysithia, that one girl that was mentioned before, the youngest one at the academy. I don't know why, but she's actually really, really OP. She's the biggest glass can I've ever seen in my life. Like, she cannot take a hit, but I swear to God, she can one-hit everybody. It's nuts. Just fair warning. I'm gonna go with the Blue Lion House. That's why the thumbnails are blue. I'm sure you guys figured that out by now. Yes, we have chosen the Blue Lions, led by Dimitri. Yay! All right, moving on.
Your heart has made its choice, then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing. More importantly, who is this?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers' Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor. I am Sedith's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
Let us focus on the topic at hand. There is something you should be aware of. In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the three houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students. We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
What a dick, right?
Does this mean our new professor is... No, I really can't believe it. But I was speaking to you so casually, as though we were companions. Oh, I am so sorry, Professor. You just look the same age as the rest of us, and... Oh, and I'm sorry I just said that too. I really must watch my tongue. You say that, but I just don't know about all of this.
I'll admit, it doesn't sit well with me either. After all, we wish to show you due respect.
Sure, but if the professor says it's okay, shouldn't that be enough? That is, if your highness can consent to such a thing. After all, we're already speaking this way to our future king, so we may as well relax our speech with our professor too, right?
Well, we're not in the kingdom, so it only goes to follow that we should all speak companionably. I concede. If the professor says it's fine, we ought to accept that kindness gratefully.
As for me, I'm not sure I can manage.
You don't have to force yourself if it's too difficult. You're fine with that too, right, Professor?
Come to the training ground later. There, you will show me what you're capable of.
You aren't wasting any time, are you, Felix? As it were, count me in for any such battle.
Pardon me, but I would also love to observe you in battle for future reference, if that's okay with you.
Ash, I won't have you speak of merely watching. You should join us as well.
If you get injured, simply say the word and I'll patch you up straight away.
Your Highness, do take care not to go overboard.
You worry too much to do. I'll be fine, I promise.
My companions, is there not something inherently wrong with crossing blades as a way to bond with each other?
Huh, I never thought of it that way. Well, if that's how you feel, I suppose you'll just stay behind while the rest of us are at the training ground?
Ingrid, my dearest friend, you really are too harsh on me.
Well then, Professor, what do you think? As you can see, the Blue Lion House is a lively bunch, but you'll find none who work harder. I'm certain we'll cause our fair share of trouble, but I'm very much looking forward to the year ahead.
More loading screens. So, it gives you little tidbits you can use on loading screens. It's usually the ones that are longer, though, but I'm probably still just going to skip over them. Alright, so, every single month, depending on your professor level, you'll get a certain amount of money for funding the month's activities. Okay, here we go. More of this.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise. You don't know about crests? Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them. Is your calendar clear? This will take a while. Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate. They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines. Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons. Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now. I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter. As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descendants will inherit it as well. Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power. Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it. That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all. Yes, of course. I'll get to the bottom of it straight away. Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here. What is this? A pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected? To think there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling! Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider. You may leave now. I have more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, your work here is done. What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or perhaps, what in the world? Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
Alright, so every single... Yeah, don't worry about that. This is all stuff that doesn't matter. I can explain it all later. Let's see. Every single Sunday is your chance to walk around the map if you want to. You can go to the marketplace from here. You can go to the armory or the item shop. The battalion guild is not unlocked yet, neither is the blacksmith. But we're going to explore. Don't worry about all that New Game Plus crap. One thing I do want to mention that I am going to use some New Game Plus, only because there's certain things that are locked behind it, is the professor level, which I'm just going to max out right now, because I definitely can afford it. Just trust me, this is very necessary. But to raise your professor level, normally, you just go around and talk to people, complete quests, or go fishing in the pond, eat with students, stuff like that, and your professor level goes up. But there are certain things that are locked behind your professor level, and I need to show everything, so yeah. You can go on this board and you can see your quest info and all that, but we're going to do all that next episode because we are way over time. And hopefully next episode is when we can actually begin the series. And one more thing I want to mention, just because it's worth mentioning, is that in the entire Fire Emblem series, very little of it is actually voice acted, which I find very funny because I swear they voice acted everything in this game. Every single line is, unless it's from the main character, every single line is voice acted. There's so much voice acting. I gotta give them props because there was like none, and now it's just all over the place. It's insane. Alright, that's enough of that though. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys next time.